Maria never asked for much in life. She didn't dream of luxury or fame. Her only dream was stability, a warm home, a meal on the table, and the chance for her son, Leo, to have a life better than hers. But even those small dreams felt like distant stars. She had become a mother at just 19. The father vanished before Leo was even born, and from that day forward, Maria learned to survive. She cleaned houses by day, waited tables at night, and when there was time, she would study books. About finance and psychology she borrowed from the library. She wanted to understand people. She wanted to understand how to rise when the world tried to hold you down. By the time she was 30, Maria had already lived through what many wouldn't face in a lifetime: evictions, hunger, cold winters without heat, nights crying silently so her son wouldn't hear. Her entire life was a silent battle, but it made her resilient. Leo was her reason. Every step she took, every sacrifice, every exhausted morning was for him. "One day," she would whisper to him while brushing back his hair, "one day, Mama will make it right." But even hope can wither. At one point, Maria lost her second job. The rent was 2 months overdue. Leo had outgrown his shoes, and she couldn't afford new ones. She made him paper insoles and stuffed the toes with newspaper. That night, she cried in the bathroom for over an hour. She felt broken, worthless, defeated. It was then, in the deepest pit of despair, that something shifted. One morning, after another sleepless night worrying about bills and Leo's future, Maria walked to the supermarket with a few coins left in her pocket. The snow was falling softly, and her worn-out boots left shallow footprints on the sidewalk. She bought a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, and counted the change carefully at the register. As she walked out, she noticed a small crowd gathered at the corner kiosk. They were selling lottery tickets. Maria had always scoffed at such things, considering them a waste of precious money. But that morning, something inside her paused. Not hope, not faith, just a strange, quiet impulse. She reached into her pocket and felt one coin left. It wasn't enough for much. A single lottery ticket, maybe. She stood there for a long moment, watching people laugh and chatter as they bought their tickets. "What do I have to lose?" she whispered to herself. She stepped forward, handed over her last coin, and received a small, crumpled ticket in return. She didn't even look at the numbers. She tucked it into her coat pocket and walked home through the falling snow. Days passed. The ticket remained pinned on her fridge with an old magnet shaped like a smiling sun. She barely thought about it. Life continued. Leo needed help with homework. There were floors to mop at the diner and bills to dodge. Then, 3 days later, while cleaning the kitchen after dinner, Maria heard the lottery numbers being read on the TV. She paused, half listening, as she wiped down the counter. "Tonight's winning numbers are," the announcer began. Something about the sequence caught her ear. She turned to look at the screen. She reached up and pulled the ticket off the fridge. Slowly, she read the numbers printed on it. First number, 4. She looked at the ticket. 4. Second number, 12. Her heart skipped. Third, 26. Her breath caught. Fourth, 33. Fifth, 41. Finally, 7. Maria stared at the ticket in stunned silence. No sound came out of her mouth, no movement from her body. She checked the numbers again and again. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Her hands began to shake. Her knees buckled, and she sat down heavily in the nearest chair. Then she screamed, but it wasn't a scream of joy. It was a scream of fear, confusion, disbelief. She had just won the lottery, the grand prize, enough money to change her life forever. Enough to buy a house, pay off debts, send Leo to the best schools. But all she could feel at that moment was terror. For years, her life had been structured by scarcity. Every decision was about what they could do without, what they could ration, what they could postpone. Now suddenly, there was abundance beyond anything she had ever known. She sat there for what felt like hours, clutching the ticket in her hands, her mind racing through 1,000 questions. What would she do? Who could she trust? How would this change them? Maria knew instinctively that sudden wealth was not just a gift, it was a responsibility, a challenge, perhaps even a curse, if handled poorly. She remembered all the times strangers had helped her, a kind neighbor who brought groceries when they had none, the school counselor who gave Leo an old winter coat, the anonymous person who paid their electric bill one freezing December. She had survived because of the kindness of others. Now, she realized, it was her turn. Maria stood up, wiped the tears from her cheeks, and looked at her reflection in the kitchen window. Behind her, Leo was asleep on the couch, his small chest rising and falling in peaceful rhythm. She held the ticket up to the glass, seeing her own reflection merge with its printed numbers. "This changes everything," she whispered, but deep. Inside, she already knew that the money itself wasn't the real victory. The real triumph would be what she chose to do with it. In the following days, Maria's life felt like a whirlwind. Word of her win was supposed to be private, but the news leaked quickly. Suddenly, she was bombarded with calls from distant relatives. She barely remembered old acquaintances asking for favors, even strangers with urgent opportunities. She had heard stories of lottery winners whose lives were ruined by sudden fame and misplaced trust. She was determined not to become one of those cautionary tales. Her first decision was to remain grounded. Maria met with a financial advisor recommended by a trusted friend. The advisor explained the importance of planning carefully, how to manage taxes, set up trusts, and invest wisely to protect her newfound fortune. Maria soaked up the knowledge like a sponge. She knew the value of education. This was no different. Meanwhile, her priority was Leo. She enrolled him in a private school with a strong focus on character development and academics. For the first time, Leo had access to resources, extracurricular activities, and a supportive environment that nurtured his potential. Watching him flourish gave Maria a deep sense of fulfillment she had never known. But Maria also realized that money alone wouldn't solve all their problems. She had carried the scars of hardship, not just physically, but emotionally. Years of struggle had instilled resilience, but also fear. Fear of losing everything. Fear of change. She attended therapy sessions to work through these feelings, learning to trust herself and others again. Despite the whirlwind, Maria remained humble. She donated a portion of her winnings to local charities that supported single mothers and children in need. She believed that sharing her fortune was a way to honor the kindness she had received during her darkest days. At the same time, Maria started a small business, a cozy cafe in her neighborhood where locals could gather, relax, and feel valued. It was more than a business. It was her way of building community and giving back. The cafe became a safe haven, a place of warmth and encouragement, reflecting the values she held dear. But success brought new challenges. Old doubts crept in. Was she worthy of this life? Could she protect Leo from the attention and expectations that came with wealth? Maria learned that money could amplify problems, but also offer solutions, depending on how it was handled. She made a vow to raise Leo with integrity, to teach him the importance of kindness, hard work, and gratitude. Wealth could open doors, but character would determine the path he walked. Through it all, Maria's relationship with Leo grew stronger. They spent evenings talking about their dreams and fears, sharing laughter and tears. Maria never forgot the nights they had spent huddled together against the cold, nor the sacrifices made. Those memories fueled her commitment to build a better future. Maria's story spread beyond her neighborhood, inspiring others facing adversity. She spoke at community centers, sharing her journey and encouraging people to believe in their own strength. Her message was clear. No matter where you start, with courage and determination, transformation is possible. Yet Maria remained cautious, knowing that the world could be unforgiving. She guarded her privacy, keeping her circle small, and trusted. Not everyone had her best interests at heart. In quiet moments, Maria reflected on how a single decision, the choice to buy a lottery ticket on a snowy morning, had altered the course of her life. It wasn't luck alone, it was the courage to embrace opportunity, to plan wisely, and to hold on to her values despite overwhelming change. She realized that true wealth was more than money. It was the strength to rise after every fall, the love that sustained her through hardship, and the hope that illuminated even the darkest nights. Maria's journey was far from over, but she faced the future with confidence. She had learned that when life surprises you, the real test is what you do next. As Maria settled into her new life, she discovered that wealth brought a new kind of responsibility, one she hadn't anticipated. The sudden financial freedom allowed her to think beyond survival, to dream bigger for herself and Leo. She started attending workshops on entrepreneurship, personal finance, and leadership. The knowledge empowered her to make informed decisions rather than reacting impulsively. One of the most profound lessons Maria learned was about financial literacy. Despite winning the lottery, she realized that many people around her struggled with money management. Determined to break that cycle, she began sharing her experience and insights with other single mothers in her community. She hosted informal gatherings in her cafe, discussing budgeting, saving, and investing. These sessions became popular, providing practical tools and boosting confidence among women who once felt overwhelmed by their financial situations. Maria also faced emotional challenges. The transition from poverty to wealth wasn't seamless. Some days, she wrestled with feelings of guilt. Why had she been chosen when others struggled so much? She confronted these emotions by volunteering at shelters and food banks, reminding herself of the importance of humility and empathy. These experiences kept her connected to her roots and motivated her to use her fortune to create positive change. In parallel, Maria worked hard to maintain stability in her personal life. Leo's curiosity about their changed circumstances grew. He asked questions about the money, the people calling, and why their lives were so different now. Maria chose honesty, explaining in age-appropriate ways the importance of hard work, gratitude, and staying true to oneself despite external changes. She involved Leo in decisions about the family's future, from choosing the school to planning vacations. This inclusion fostered a sense of security and partnership, helping Leo adjust emotionally to their new lifestyle. It was important to Maria that Leo understood money was a tool, not an identity. Meanwhile, Maria's business began to flourish. The cafe became more than a neighborhood spot. It was a community hub that hosted art shows, book clubs, and charity events. Maria's vision was clear: to build a space that nourished not only the body, but also the soul. She hired local youth, giving them job opportunities and mentorship, further extending the ripple effect of her good fortune. Financial advisors helped her diversify her investments, ensuring that her wealth was protected against economic fluctuations. Maria set up a foundation to provide scholarships for underprivileged children, aiming to create opportunities where there were few. These steps reflected her belief that success should be sustainable and inclusive. Despite her busy schedule, Maria never neglected her personal growth. She took up meditation and mindfulness practices to manage stress and maintain balance. These tools helped her navigate the pressures of public attention and complex relationships. Over time, Maria noticed a shift in how people treated her. Some relationships strengthened based on genuine connection and respect. Others faded, revealing true intentions. Maria learned the importance of discernment, trusting her intuition to protect her and Leo from harmful influences. Her story became a beacon of hope for many, showing that wealth did not have to corrupt or isolate. Instead, when guided by values, it could be a force for good, empowering not only oneself, but also the wider community. Maria's journey was a testament to resilience, courage, and the power of choice. She embodied the idea that no matter one's starting point, it's possible to transform adversity into opportunity and fortune into a meaningful legacy. With time, Maria began to see that her lottery win was not just a stroke of luck, but a catalyst for deeper transformation, not only in her life, but in her community as well. She realized that true empowerment came from creating lasting impact, not simply enjoying personal wealth. This insight inspired her to expand her efforts beyond her cafe and foundation. Maria partnered with local non-profits and government programs focused on education, job training, and social services for single mothers and low-income families. She used her platform and resources to advocate for policies that supported economic empowerment and equality. Maria's voice, once quiet and tentative, became confident and influential. She also became a mentor to other women who dreamed of rising above their circumstances. Through one-on-one coaching and group workshops, Maria shared her story, struggles, and lessons learned. She emphasized the importance of resilience, strategic planning, and maintaining integrity. Her authenticity resonated deeply with those she helped. At home, Maria and Leo continued to grow together. Leo, now a teenager, blossomed into a thoughtful and ambitious young man. He excelled academically and developed a passion for social justice, inspired by his mother's dedication to giving back. Their bond, forged through years of hardship and triumph, remained unbreakable. However, the journey was not without setbacks. Maria faced challenges such as dealing with jealous acquaintances, navigating complex legal matters related to her winnings, and managing the expectations that fame and fortune brought. She learned to lean on a trusted support network, close friends, advisors, and therapists to maintain her mental and emotional well-being. Maria also prioritized teaching Leo about the responsibility that came with wealth. She encouraged him to volunteer, understand philanthropy, and think critically about money's role in society. They often discussed ethical dilemmas and the importance of empathy and humility, preparing Leo to become a conscientious adult. Her story caught the attention of media outlets, and Maria was invited to speak on radio shows and podcasts about her experience. She used these opportunities to highlight the importance of financial education and community support, hoping to inspire others to pursue their dreams with both heart and mind. Through it all, Maria never forgot her roots or the struggles that shaped her. She often reflected on the night she decided to buy the lottery ticket, an act seemingly small but life-changing. It reminded her that sometimes change begins with a simple choice paired with courage. Maria's journey exemplified the power of perseverance, vision, and kindness. She transformed not only her own life, but also the lives of many others, proving that true wealth is measured by the positive difference one makes in the world. As Maria's journey progressed, she realized that the greatest wealth was not the money itself, but the freedom to live authentically and with purpose. The lottery win had opened doors, but it was her choices, values, and actions that truly defined her legacy. One significant milestone was when Maria launched a scholarship program under her foundation, aimed specifically at supporting single mothers pursuing higher education or vocational training. She believed education was the key to breaking cycles of poverty and empowering women to create their own paths. The first recipients of the scholarships were women from her own community, many of whom had faced struggles similar to hers. Maria also invested in mental health initiatives, understanding firsthand the emotional toll that financial stress and single parenthood could take. She funded counseling services and workshops on resilience and self-care, creating safe spaces for women to heal and grow. These programs quickly gained recognition, helping to reduce stigma around mental health in underserved communities. Meanwhile, Maria's personal growth continued. She developed a daily routine combining meditation, journaling, and gratitude practices, which grounded her through challenges and successes alike. These habits fostered a mindset of abundance and compassion that radiated in her work and relationships. Leo, growing into adulthood, pursued his passion for social activism and education. Maria supported his ambitions wholeheartedly, proud to see how her journey had inspired him to contribute meaningfully to society. Their family bond remained strong, built on trust, communication, and shared values. Looking back, Maria saw her story not as a simple lottery win, but as a series of intentional steps fueled by hope, faith, and determination. She often spoke about the importance of staying humble, using privilege wisely, and giving back without expecting anything in return. Her story was a reminder to many that success is multifaceted. It involves wealth, yes, but also integrity, empathy, and the courage to face life's complexities head-on. Maria's journey challenged stereotypes about lottery winners and single mothers, offering a narrative of empowerment and transformation grounded in reality. In the end, Maria's legacy was one of resilience, generosity, and unwavering belief in the potential for change. She showed that with the right mindset and support, even the most unlikely circumstances could lead to extraordinary outcomes, not just for oneself, but for entire communities. Her life became an inspiring testament to the power of choice, the impact of compassion, and the enduring strength of the human spirit.